We have a great bunch of professionals addressing your letters tonight. I can't wait. They're all beautiful women. They're all smart. And these are the letters that they'll be addressing. One of them you won't have seen on Sweet and Sour before, but I'm sure you would have seen her face. And she's a newbie to us, and these are the letters that she and the other women and me will be addressing. Here we go. What do you do when you've actually let it out of your mouth and you can't take it back? Because that's what the first letter writer is wanting to know, because he said something really horrible and he's given us the quote, and we'll tell you what it is later, and I don't think there's anything that you can do. It's just too late. Second letter tonight. An Italian couple, 4 beautiful boys that they've raised. They've all gone and got married. All they wanted was for the boys to go to church on Sunday, come home to a big family dinner, but none of them married Italians and none of them want to go for lunch or to church, or what do you do? Last letter tonight. In Australia, apparently you're a social pariah if you don't have a drink. So when you're out on the dating game and you say, no, I'm a teetotaler, people look at you strangely, apparently, according to letter writer number 3. All these letters, a terrific lineup coming your way right now. Stay tuned.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, 'cause baby, it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet
On the panel, we're on! Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Gary Mitchell with you for the next chat-filled half hour. And I'm in my element tonight. I've got 4 professional women who are just beautiful. So I'm going to sit back and smile and listen to what they've got to say. And my mouth isn't working, so that's one of the reasons why I'll be sitting there. First up tonight, I love it a bit. Hello, my mate. Candice, how are you?
Oh, it's me.
It is.
I was like, which one are you going to talk about? 'Cause I'm like, I don't know.
You've taken leave from being a mum tonight and being a wife, and here you are.
I am not covered in Weet-Bix or snot currently, so having a good day.
I'm glad. Guess what? We've got a newcomer on the show tonight. Hello, but everybody's recognising your face because you're not only are you a reality TV face, you're also a mental health ambassador, and you're an author.
That's right, but I'm a Perth girl through and through, so it's about time.
Perth girls. Yeah, it is about time. Sorry about that. I tried to get you on ages ago.
You did.
I did. Not for lack of trying.
Better late than never.
Nice to have you. Hello, my darling. Lovely to have you here.
Hello, darling Gary.
Did you really just get off a plane?
I absolutely did. I just got off a plane from Broome. You know, this is a bit of a tan.
From Broome. You're on holidays.
WA, Broome.
How long were you in Broome?
3 nights, 4 days.
Oh,
and I was promoting a wonderful hotel over there.
Which was the hotel? No, we're not allowed to.
Plug it?
We're not allowed to. We're not allowed
Can
to.
I plug my blog now?
We can stay there, but we're not allowed to plug it. All right? Melbourne sent us a nice little letter saying, please don't do promos anymore, otherwise we can't air you. So, for the sake of going to air in Melbourne, we had a nice time in...
Check out my blog.
Okay, check out the blog. Maya!
Hi.
My hypnotherapist. Tell me, am I doing okay?
You're doing fabulously, darling, fabulously. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. What have you been... Any interesting cases since we've last...
Well, I've just come back from California, actually. Have you heard of Deepak Chopra?
Yeah, of course. What did you do with him?
I spent 5 days with him. I got to meet him, and he was teaching us meditation, and it was just the most incredible experience.
I'm jealous.
Loved it.
Sensational.
Yeah.
That's why you're on the panel. That's why all the ladies are on the panel, because they are terrific. And here we go with letter 1 titled Fat Chance, and you'll understand why in a moment. Hi, Sweet and Sour. Well, it's all said and done, and the question is, how do I undo it? We were at my sister's dinner party at home. She'd been winding me up all night, and I was bottling it up. She said something aggressive to me across the table. I shot back with something equally aggressive. To break the tension, one of her friends took the initiative, stood up and said, "Can you tell how much weight I've lost?" Everyone jumped in to change the subject and was complimenting her, except for me. Still seething at my sister, I yelled out to this poor woman, "You've still got a fat ass, you pig." Isn't that terrible? Can't believe I actually just said it. I didn't even get the chance to apologise, and at that point, it wasn't even in my head to think about apologising. My sister's husband and the friend's husband picked me up and threw me out. Last month, I called my sister to apologise, and she just wound me up again, laughed, and said it's not to her that the apology was needed, it's to her friend, but I'm not allowed to go anywhere near her. The poor woman had been on a diet for 8 months, lost massive amounts of weight, but I made her completely discouraged by calling her a fat ass pig. It's awful. What do I do? Panellists, please. It comes locally from Clyde of Maddington, WA. Lydia. Isn't that awful?
Disgusting. Dig a hole and bury it.
Suicide, mate.
No, absolutely
No?
not.
Do you reckon you can step back from that?
Well, everything can be forgiven. It perhaps may not be forgotten. However, I would just like to tell you something that I teach my 2 little daughters of 5 and 6 years of age.
This little piggy head roast beef? This little pig? Not that?
No,
Okay.
we're getting off that topic. 2 wrongs don't make it right. So firstly, going back to your reaction to your sister, you shouldn't have reacted to her. You should have just let it be because you rise above. If someone's going to try to bring you down, you rise above. You didn't, you reacted. You're obviously in some sort of form of anger. And then this lovely lady who has tried so hard to lose so much weight. I don't know if you've ever tried to lose weight. It's really, really hard. I have after having babies. So I feel like you must have been wound up and you reacted. You reacted in such a wrong way. You definitely not a gentleman. And I think
Not
you
a
should.
gentleman.
I think you should be ashamed for your reaction. I think you need to learn to control it. And I think you should be calling her to apologise, not your sister.
Maya.
Clyde, I would say do whatever it takes to repair the damage that you've done to that poor, poor lady. And I would suggest that if no one's allowing you to contact her, is to write the most open, honest letter to her and be completely vulnerable and say that it had nothing to do with her, that it was your angst and your pain and your frustration that you were having with your sister, so that she then knows not to take it personally, that you were just letting off steam. It was completely wrongly directed at her, and say to her that you'll do whatever it takes to help her get over that. So I would send a huge bunch of flowers, a beautiful, authentic letter from your heart, and say it had nothing to do with you. And also I would repair your relationship with your sister, find out what the triggers are, and just work on that relationship.
Candace, it's 8 months down the track. Can you do all of that 8 months down the track?
Why do you have the social graces of a mouldy banana? And I can see that this woman, this friend, has now set a boundary in that no one is allowing you to go anywhere near her, and I think you need to respect the boundary and leave her alone. That's what I think.
Leave her alone?
Yep, and I don't think you can come back from it, but I think you should do better in the
Social
future. I
suicide.
think that's the way you make it right, is that you commit to doing better.
Trace, last word.
Oh yes, it just reminds me of those text messages to an ex-boyfriend after a few drinks. Clyde, you just need some emotional regulation help, my friend, because I think this is a recurring problem for you, projecting anger and things. So yeah, maybe work on yourself.
Hang on, was there any comeback after you sent the texts?
Delete, block.
Delete, block.
Say X.
But then, yeah.
We asked you people at home to answer this question for us. Once vitriol is out of your mouth, can it ever be overcome? Here's what you said. Yeah, split 50-50 more or less. Some people said yes, some people said no. I don't know. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the plight of a poor Italian mama. 4 sons! 4! Not one of them comes to church with her on a Sunday. When we come back, more of Sweet and Sour. Don't go away. That was good.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Horses for courses, welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to one of these social contact points appearing on your screen right now. And there you go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. How many, Candice?
There's a
6,
bunch.
5?
Yeah, don't
5
ask
of
me,
them.
I
I
can't
can. Yeah. Are there any more than that?
There's probably a bunch.
God, goodness me. You've got no excuse to not send us your gripe. So send it right here to one of those contact points. For every letter that we do discuss, we are going to send you to the movies courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communication. There you go. We're sending you to the new Palace Cinemas that have opened up here in Perth. Where are they? They're
Square.
Rain
City
Square, that's in
Square.
Perth. But for everyone around
no,
Australia,
wasn't invited.
you've been enjoying Palace for years and years and years and years. Here we go, letter 2. Hi, Sweet and Sour. There are 4 sons in our Aussie-Italian family. Dad speaks fluent English, Mum speaks broken English. All they ever wanted for their sons was to marry good Italian brides, have big Catholic families and come around for lunch every Sunday after church. My eldest brother married an Indian lady and quickly divorced. I married my wonderful wife, who is a fluent Mandarin speaker, Chinese girl, who can't understand a single word my mum says. My next brother is gay and also partnered with an Asian man, and my youngest brother has been married 3 times to 3 different nationalities, none of whom were Italian. My mum and dad have done their very best to love and accommodate all of us, but when my mum had to go to hospital suddenly last week with a health scare, my dad abused all of us, telling us that not once did we ever consider our mum's feelings in our choice of partners, and brought her strangers who she couldn't connect with to join our family. He told us to keep away from the hospital because we had caused her all heartache. My wonderful dad, who had always been the most supportive to each of us, paid out on all of us. I felt terrible. So did each of my brothers. Were we selfish? Can any of us help who we fall in love with? How do we possibly make this right now? And it comes to us from Carmine Gunganuzzo of Campbelltown, South Australia. It's not Gunganuzzo. First up to Candice.
You can't help who you love, and your parents get no say in who you love. So no, you were not being selfish in choosing a partner that you love and adore, who you self-describe as a wonderful wife. How could you possibly have been selfish? Your brother's the same. In marrying people who they were genuinely in love with at the time, they were not being selfish. They were doing exactly what they ought to do. As a very famous band once said, you can't always get what you want, and your parents need to listen to that song once more.
But how do you possibly make it right? What do you do?
I think you need to take what your dad's saying with a pinch of salt. He's obviously hurting because of the mum situation, the sickness, and obviously that's bringing up a lot of emotions. So I wouldn't take it to heart. I mean, they obviously love and support you. It seems like a, close-knit family. Again, I don't think you can possibly know who you fall in love with, but yeah, I wouldn't take it to heart. I mean, it's obviously a rough time with the health scare.
Very true. When someone's really under a whole lot of emotional stress, you just pay out on everybody, don't you?
Exactly.
Oh,
Projection.
the poor dad. I feel sorry for him. I'm looking at this letter through different eyes now. Okay, what do you do here?
I agree that Dad's under some sort of emotional stress. I'm not justifying what he said by any means. However, coming from a fairly strong Croatian family, I can kind of understand the mentality.
Me too.
It's a European thing. Myself and my 2 brothers, none of us married a Croatian. And I have had moments where I thought, you know what, perhaps it would have been nice if we had, because there'd be that bit more of an understanding within our family culture. But having said that, you can't help who you love, and...
Is that true? I don't know whether that's true.
I think you can love many people.
I'll be interested to hear what Maya's got to say on this, because, I was thinking back over my life and I thought, there were certain things that I set up as a bar consciously and unconsciously, and when I was consciously aware of them, I excluded a whole lot of people because they didn't...
And nationalities, to be honest.
No, not that. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I can say
maybe. I don't think so, though. Because I think.
Well, in the back of your mind, like I always had, it'd be nice if I also had met a Croatian and been with a Croatian, but that didn't.
I think.
I am divorced.
Actually, you're right. I did exclude one nationality. That was Greeks. I didn't want to.
You didn't want.
But having said that, you overcome that, because my background was Greek, and I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But
Too
you
much
do.
likeness.
Yeah.
You want someone different.
But they're wonderful. It's. I have reflected on that. And
Did
thought
you do
better of
that
it.
because it was so embedded in you to be with the Greek that you kind of rebelled and
Not
said,
really. My parents were really terrific. I was the youngest of the family, and they let me do.
You got away with
and pick,
everything.
you know. And the only thing my dad said to me was, he goes, Gaz, please stop bringing them home for dinner. Just bring me the one that you're going to marry. I'm sick of cooking for them. Maya, what's the answer here?
Yes, don't take it personally. Your father is hurt, he's lashing out, and you happen to be around, you and your brothers, so don't take it on board, don't take it personally. What I would suggest, though, is to find it in your heart to compromise and to make your mum just a little bit happier. She's been very loving and supportive to all of you, to all of the people that you've partnered with, so why don't you give some of that love and support back by perhaps suggesting to your partners just to learn just a little bit of Italiano so that
Just a little bit.
they can communicate a little bit easier with your mum. So just make her a little bit happier because she's given you so much love and support. That's what I would suggest.
Oh, gorgeous.
I agree.
We asked you at home if you think you can determine with whom you fall in love. Here's what you said. Only 32% said yes. Well, doesn't that suggest that you can? If 32% have worked out who they were going to fall in love with, that means you probably can. Anyway, we'll debate that. We'll keep going. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, oh, I've got no idea. Oh, yes, I do. Whether you're a pariah when you go out and you don't drink. More of Sweet and Sour. Don't go away. Are you a pariah?
Sweet and sour is seriously the best advice you're ever going to get, right?
The best advice? Really? Better than Oprah?
Nobody's better than Oprah.
Nobody's better than Oprah, but Gary comes close. Sweet and sour.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Awesome.
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. We're having fun while the break's on. That's good. Here we go. Dear panel, I'm a non-drinker. Me too, by the way. So's Candice. I like to have a clear head and mind. I meditate twice daily. They're giggling over this side of the panel because they're the drinkers on the show. I meditate twice daily and consider myself balanced and reflective. Are you all these things, balanced and reflective, even though you drink?
Completely.
Completely.
With the balance of drinking.
Wine in one hand, wine in the other hand.
Having come out of my marriage and venturing back out onto the dating scene, now I'm aware that I'm in the minority. By no means do I have an issue with someone enjoying a drink, nor do I judge the way they live. I find it easy to connect with people and my dating experiences are always positive. That is until my date discovers I don't drink at all. It's literally like disclosing I have an incurable STI. The look of horror followed by being benched or ghosted, I don't even know what that means, is becoming seriously bewildering. Do you know what being benched or ghosted means?
Well, it's a new age term.
Okay. When did healthy choices become a disadvantage in dating? How do I date successfully carrying the handicap of being a non-drinker? Is the Australian culture of drinking so embedded into us that we see people who don't drink as abnormal? And it comes to us from Marie of Heidelberg in Victoria. Maya.
Marie?
Yes, we know you're a drinker. Yes, remember this as you're listening to Maya's words. Yes.
My pearls of wisdom. No.
Bottles.
No, it's not. Our Australian culture is not embedded in worried about people
Who are
not
non-drinkers.
drinking because I have friends who don't drink and I don't ostracize them.
That's because you're
And
too
their
drunk.
friends,
You don't even notice.
their friends don't ostracize them. So what I would suggest to you is to change the people that you're choosing to date.
Oh, how do you do that? You just swipe
Perhaps-
left or swipe right, don't you? How do you
No,
do-
perhaps maybe put on your profile or just put it out there that you want to attract
Non-drinkers.
healthy,
Fellow
fit,
non-drinkers.
conscious people who are like-minded, as opposed to perhaps
Ooh.
going off to the pub and meeting someone there. You're going to get an environment of drinkers.
That's a good head start, isn't it? Don't meet them at a pub.
Yeah,
Cafe.
that's it.
All right, Lydia.
Well, I admire you that you live a very healthy life and you like to meditate and you like to be in control.
Who is it? Sister Marie from... Okay, it's all right.
And if you like to live this sisterhood, that's fine. I think as you equally can't judge people if they like to have a drink. And as long as you put it out there and let them know, and if they are not into you because you don't drink, then they're not for you. And I agree, put it out there that you're a non-drinker and hopefully you'll attract someone else that's a non-drinker.
So you say just get it in first, so to speak. You know.
Okay, I think we've just...
Before we go on to our two final ladies.
I've actually just been left speechless. Tracy, can we move on, Gary?
Move on. We asked you people at home to answer this question for us. Are teetotalers in the main socially excluded in an Australian culture that doesn't cater to non-drinkers? And here's what you said. Ooh, fairly split down the middle again on this one. Some do, some don't. So obviously some people feel comfortable with non-drinkers around, some people don't when you're indulging. All right, Trace, what do you reckon? How much do you drink?
Look, I can totally relate, Marie, because I am a Cadbury kid, a glass and a half, and I'll go straight to the wines by the glass, not wines by the bottle, and my date it's very awkward. It's very awkward when you're on a date getting to know someone, wanting to put your best foot forward, and you're having issues around the drinking. But yes, I agree, maybe go to cafes rather than a bar or a
Cafes?
pub.
Just don't
Have a
set
coffee.
yourself up incorrectly.
Or a green juice, in your case.
Green juice? Geez, that's one extreme to the other, isn't it? Last word, Candice.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue. I've generally very rarely had a problem with people with my non-drinking. I mean, I'll have maybe one drink a year. My husband, he has a social drink. He can still
Not
find
an issue?
someone.
You don't ever feel ostracised?
No. I mean, occasionally people go, really? And I say, yeah. And
but
that's
that's about it?
Yeah.
And so what if they want to ostracise you, unless
You know
you're
what?
on a date?
Your best tip, lime and soda. Looks like a vodka lime and soda.
Drinking rum and coca. What is it? Lime soda, sorry.
Look, lime and soda looks exactly like a vodka lime and soda.
Oh, a couple of tricks. Oh, that's very clever.
handy.
And the other thing that I can do is walk around with the same glass all night and just, you know, the pot plant behind, just tip a little bit out so it looks like you've been drinking. And the other thing that people check for is to see if you've actually been drinking, you leave some lip marks on
Gee,
the glass.
that's really, that's some detective work
Do you
right
like
there.
some lip balm or gloss on your lips so you can leave a bit of a prominent mark?
I'm Greek, I've got the lovely,
Those beautiful
It's
very,
oil.
very
It's good oil.
nice skin that leaves marks on glasses. You know, and that's all you do. A couple of little tricks and then no one will ever notice. And even if the guy across the table from you is going, would you like a little bit more? No, no, no. I drank some earlier today. 3 weeks in, you can say, I don't drink at all. Vinny's telling us we have to go. Good night, ladies. Good night,
See you.
Candice.
Nice to see you.
Lovely to have you here. Good night,
you.
Trace. Terrific to have you here.
Oh, good fun.
Will you come back?
Absolutely.
As will the rest of our ladies. Lydia, you'll come back, won't you?
Absolutely.
After you've just holidayed in Broome again, probably. Who you hypnotising this week? Can it be me?
I think you need a bit of hypnotising, darling.
She'd be right. We've got to go. Thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew, and thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. This is where we wait now. We just do that. Good night, everybody. Keep smiling and bye for now. Do you remember who said that?